Hey you guys, getting into the first battle of Chaos Wars Finals. Sorry, I was just getting into everything late. I got into the recording late, my setup is a mess, and anyway, it was just a really sloppy first battle. I was out with friends all day, and I was really just tired, and anyway, so I have a light sylph on. I was using it for Guild Beast real quick, and I forgot to change my setup. I usually have the light sylph on Panda, and so Panda doesn't have a sylph because I just didn't bother to give him one for Guildies. Just a big mess. But here we are against Kabam 15. They're combined with, I believe, Kabam 25, 55, and I think a couple of the servers in the 60s. Maybe 60s and 63? Something like that. So here we're up against Wing and a few other players. Cambo, I think, is pretty up there. Erico, and I was a little bit surprised to see this combination, to be perfectly honest with you. Just no mages, which I think is just kind of weird. Maybe the server doesn't have a lot of strong mages. When I think about all the top players, it does seem to be knights and archers. But maybe that's why Wing has a water sylph on. But I did think it was a little bit weird for a PvP team. I was surprised that Elk was not a part of this team. When I'm thinking about, how are people going to be teaming up for this type of event, it really is important for the server to have their top players combined together to have a very powerful team and try and take out the other server's top players. And so for us, we have myself, Robin, and Shock, who are 1, 2, and 3 on the server by BR, and then Midori is not far behind at, I think, 5th or 6th in BR, and so the four of us make up the strongest PvP team possible for our server. Midori, favoring Midori a little bit over Late Night just because she's married to Robin, and also mages are very nice for group PvP, so it never hurts to have a few mages. So here we take out Wing. I can't really do anything about the light sylph situation. I have to move the gear and everything, so I just had to leave it alone and just work with the light sylph. It could have been a worse option. I could have had, I don't know, like any of my sylphs that don't have gear on them, or any sort of single target sylph. It would not be a great situation. So it definitely could be worse, but I don't know, completely out of it. I got a little bit concerned in this situation. We cleared out one strong team, so I was happy about that. But we're not doing that well on just sheer number of kills. Things are pretty tight. Actually, they're ahead of us by 6 players right now. And so I was getting a little bit worried that we were getting into all these little fights. A lot of fights against players that weren't in parties. And so that might have been a strategy on their part. Only have the top players in parties and none of the sort of medium BR players in parties. For us, I think everybody probably over 2.4 million BR unbuffed was in a party together with somebody trying to take out other teams, and then probably everybody under 2.3 or something like that was individual, running around trying to avoid fights as much as possible. But yeah, just a little bit confusing. Here it's like if you're going to be have everybody split up, then why even have these people get into the fight with us later? So, not totally sure. But yeah, I am trying to search around for Elk. We are on raid call, so the chat might seem a little bit weird. Some people talking in chat, and then or writing in chat, and then other people speaking to me, and I know that I can at least speak to Robin with voice, so I usually did that to make it easier. If I need to talk to Shock or Midori, then I would use the chat. So yeah, several littler fights. This Bolus person, it seems like somebody who probably could have partied. He's taking quite a few hits from us, and it might seem like he's dying quickly, but I mean, he's taking several hits from 4 very strong players, so that seems like somebody who's supposed to be in a party and just isn't. or that should have, you know, found some help organizationally. So a little bit of coordination goes a really long way with these types of things. I mean, you're definitely, you know, not everybody is in a guild together, but it really does help to sort of think as a guild. Here, Atroxia, I heard before that Premier was taking some people out, so I was glad to see him and try and you know, take him out and not have him doing any more damage to our server. Atroxia at one point was a very top player. Maybe that was when we only had Kabam players on the cross server, but goes down pretty quickly here, so maybe it's just fallen behind a bit. Not a good situation to be chaosed with a light sylph. I don't have a lot of options. And there's Elk. So I think what's going on here is maybe they just don't know how to party up, or don't bother to party up. I think it's very strange that these people aren't all combined together already. So I don't know if their party broke. You know, that definitely is a possibility. Sometimes our party breaks if one of us dies or something like that. But yeah, a little bit strange organization-wise. And here, just, I think, finishing up. For me, I always seem to have this set up for most of the group things. For a while, I was bringing a Thunder instead of the group heal, but lately I just haven't been able to pull that off. If I'm with a group, then I really have to bring the Blessed Light. There definitely are many situations where I want to be the one group healing. For one thing, if I group heal, it's pretty much a full system reset. You know, everybody goes to full health, maybe with the exception of Robin and myself, and then we would have to be very low on health to not be able to recover. So here, just split up, and I'm trying to, you know, find fights to clear up some of the smaller players. Turns out these guys are partied together, which I didn't really understand, but we thought there were just like a few left, and that we would split up and try and kill them off as quickly as possible. You do want to win as fast as possible. The faster you win, or the more slowly you lose, the more points that you get. So that is quite important. Another reason why it's very important to coordinate with the people on your server. I think it's a good thing, you know, maybe that's just, it doesn't feel that way for people who are in a lot of guild feuds. I can't say that I've, you know, haven't had that experience on our servers, especially earlier on, but for the most part, you know, even we have a lot of like very small guilds on my server. It's not like we're constantly in each other's faces every day. Or that, you know, we think we're super compatible, but at the same time we're all pretty friendly, and, you know, I think everybody can rally together to try and win. I think generally just very competitive people. So we got 200 something points for that. I think 200, maybe 11? Didn't quite see the number. So here we get in to a battle with Wartune 63 again, which is Chili Max server. And now I have my water pet. So first getting in with this team has Kampachi and a few others. I think I was snooping around for Chili to get that out of the way very quickly, but actually it's a pretty good thing that we get this this team first. See a fire pet, which is always a bit of fun. People are saying, oh, you know, Elia, why don't you go for Thor when it comes out? I would love that if somebody wants to, you know, give me $600 for it. I am at the point where I've, you know, been thinking about, you know, where am I spending my money lately, or, you know, what do I want to do? Where I'm spending my money is just not really anywhere. I spend here and there, but it's really just slowed down a lot. And I do like the idea of getting the Fire and Electro pet as the one that I'm most curious about, at least. Maybe that's just because they saved it for last. But I think, you know, if I get to the point where, you know, we're 3 months away from the new year, and I think, you know, maybe if I don't have a merge sylph by 2016, then I'll eat the cost and make one. So that's where I'm at with it now, and we'll see. I'm hoping for a cheaper way to get one, get a seal instead of paying the $600 merge cost. But yeah, if I can't get one in 3 months, then I'll go ahead and merge one. So the Street Rider person stalling the hell out of us. Have to get into Sylph mode to take care of things. I think they might have just had rings, which, you know, the wedding rings just make everything so much slower. Now into things with Chili. Similar group to what we saw in prelims, I think. So I was expecting to see some drunk, which I think actually would be a better choice than some of the players here. I don't know why you would opt to only have one mage when you can bring in a second one. You know, Chili should be their main power player, and I think, you know, if you leave all of the healing to your top player, that's not necessarily the greatest situation. Here, Chili sits back to do a Blessed Light, I think, and so it does delay his time going into Sylph mode. Oh, he goes for the stun, so he stunned Robin. Guan Yu has an Odin, and then we see a Fire Sylph and Conan with Dark. The other three are really just not the problem. Guan Yu can do some decent damage to Midori, but otherwise I don't think he's, you know, a threat as far as like taking one of us out. I get into Sylph mode and immediately use a Guardian rune. I was, you know, spotting Chili about to Sylph. I think I was a little bit early on the Guardian rune. I think I should have waited a bit, but you know, 2020 when you're looking back. So there's one AoE. Now I'm out with my Delphic. And there, Chili gets a huge Delphic, and that alone really just kills it. He killed Shock and I at the same time, and Shock might have died once already, but had things gone a little bit differently, I think I could have lived. And yeah, but he just takes us out, he wipes us out, and there's nothing we can really do about it. And Robin, I think without a little support from me to absorb some of the damage, goes down pretty quickly. So they do a very nice job there. Chili's just super powerful right now. You know, I ended up not being able to finish my advanced dimensions for light and dark because I was out all day. But yeah, just not enough protection from that Odin to really be able to do anything. You know, I didn't put the type of dimensions that I would put into, you know, a class force competition or something like that for this. And yeah, just not quite enough. We did get them in prelims, but you know, fights can go either way, especially with the top players. So yeah, once I died, things sort of went downhill. We get 500 Chaos Stones for a loss, whereas in prelims, that's actually how many you got for a win. But yeah, it is a little bit disappointing that pretty much if our team goes down, things sort of fall apart. You would like it to have things, you know, be a little bit more even, or to have our server have a little bit more depth. But again, we're very small, so it's not like we have many options there. If we can stay alive, if this team can take out the very top, or you know, the best players out of their server, it's not a huge issue to be able to clean up the rest of the kills. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'm not sure I totally like the responsibility of, you know, kind of anchoring our ability to win, but at the same time, I guess if you put yourself into a position of strength, that you sort of have to take on the responsibility as well. this time around against your nemesis and Red Hunter. And this is Kong 3. I didn't really know who was on Kong 3. I knew about Miranda and V-Notch, and so we do see at least V-Notch. I don't think we end up seeing Miranda here, which I was a little bit surprised by. And even though I'm very familiar with a lot of these players, I guess I just didn't associate the server number with them before. So here, Red Hunter is the strongest of the bunch. He's gotten quite nasty recently. He's always been quite strong though, but I think he kind of just has moments of being, you know, at the top, or, you know, takes a break from things. I approve of taking a break from caching sometimes. I think it's just too stressful, or not stressful, but just too expensive to constantly try and strive to be at the top. It's like you think you've just finished them off, but the wedding rings makes everybody like a little cockroach. He's got that red Poseidon. That is a lot of sylph materials into a Poseidon. Myself, I haven't put any advanced Mahra or Sep into any of my sylphs except for Hecate. I am saving up quite a few. You do get quite a lot from some of these recharges, and so I just sort of hoard, and hope for the best. Here, getting a fight with Harry Brown, which I think is somebody I've seen a bit in BG, but not totally sure about strength-wise. Was that a Rage Rune? Seems like an odd choice. I did see a lot of things going on in current chat while we were fighting, but I don't know, I think I was just trying to focus or just trying to stay awake, and so I don't know, I wasn't paying much attention. Here we get V-Notch, and so he's got the Venus. I was a little bit concerned when we found out it was Kong 3. We're like, oh, should we go put on some fire resistance? Because V-Notch and Miranda both have very big fire sylphs. I think they both have red fire sylphs, and so we were a little bit concerned, but end up not having to face any of the big Arise sylphs. Oh yeah, the red fire sylph is on V-Notch's kid. The kid heals are very nice. It's, you know, pretty much have 5 group heals on this team, so sometimes it just becomes too much healing, and it's just a bit excessive, but it is pretty nice to just have a good flow of heal support. You know, by choosing, you know, you do see a lot of light and dark sylphs still, and I'm pretty well protected against those. You know, the big issues are players like Chili, who do have a lot of reduced res. Anybody with level 9 crystals at this point, or even like a couple 9s and an 8, are in pretty good position to deal a lot of damage. It takes a ton of res just to even be able to handle a bit of that type of res. It does seem like players are catching on, like, oh hey, we should probably work on this, with a few exceptions, but I'm at least seeing mostly, you know, like all 8s at the very least, if not 9s. And so after taking out V-Notch and Red Hunter before that, we're feeling pretty good. And really just this team left, I think. Actually, that might be a lie. I think we thought, oh, this is going to be the last team, and then we were like, oh, good game, you guys. It turns out there were a bunch of other players floating around. but I think other people on the server end up taking care of it. Like he says ecstasy? That's definitely not how you spell ecstasy. So we're up by quite a few players, but I do think that the points at the end don't have to do with how many players you have left. I think it has more to do with how quickly you win. If anybody has figured out a rhyme or a reason to that, please let me know. Maybe it's a combination of the two, but my impression is it has to do with speed. Just a few people floating around. This person was sort of surprising. He was in our spawn, but wasn't fighting anybody, so he's sort of just hiding in plain sight. So there are 211 points. And here we're going into things with Wartune 21. This is Osri's server, or at least he is the top player there, and we immediately get into a fight with him. He has Chaos, who Chaos I think must have quit or stopped caching for quite a long time and has really come back into things, has a lot of the top sylphs, so he is clearly pushing his BR again. I think he's actually back into the top 8 players. And then Weak as Archer and Groot. So a very, very strong team. I think it's a little bit odd choice of sylph for Osri. I don't think that Frigga is a very aggressive sylph for a top player, but I don't know if he has Odin. That might just be the only merge sylph he has, so maybe that's the one that he went with or thought it would be good to have support. They do only have one mage, but then the other 2 of them bring Poseidon, so there is a lot of heal support. So not totally sure about the sylph choice there. As far as the sylphs go, I was a bit concerned because I didn't have res for 3 of these people. I don't have any water resistance, so Frigga and 2 Poseidons is not a good situation. At the same time, I was feeling pretty good as far as just sheer power goes, and so I felt like we would do well. This just ends up being an exceedingly frustrating situation. I do DC in a moment, and yeah, it's just really annoying. You know, these types of things happen. I was very surprised. You know, it's not like my router went out or anything like that. It was just a disconnection out of the blue, and I'm not totally sure why. But there you are. Get into sylph mode, can't heal, can't do anything, and so my team is left without me. I get back into things as quickly as I can, but it turns out that there's a 2-minute cooldown to get back into the battleground. So I'm just constantly trying to get back in and see if I can get back into the fight. I do get back in, but they're in a fight and I can't see the fight, and then they lose and I'm dead. So yeah, so Robin actually was hanging in there pretty well toward the end. I honestly, you know, even from an objective standpoint, this is not like a pride thing or whatever. I'm not trying to gloat or think that I'm that much better than they are, but I really do think if I were there that we would have won that fight. And just, you know, Robin was hanging on for several minutes. I mean, at least in, you know, a fight, as far as fights go in Wartune, the fact that they were still alive without me doing anything but auto-attacking for probably like over 2 minutes without me doing anything really makes me think that if I were there that we would have had them. So yeah, that's just, I mean, frustrating. You know, things did go pretty downhill once our team was out. You know, people just started getting picked off and we couldn't do anything about it. So go 2-2. We actually placed pretty well for going 2-2. We got 7,200 crystals for the people who did participate in all 4 fights, and so we got 4,200 for placing 6th. And so probably out of the servers that went 2-2, we did the best. Wartune 21 is who we just fought, and they placed 5th. So they actually didn't end up placing that much better, even though they beat us. And so yeah, a big congrats to Kong 1, the winners, and so yeah, it goes Kong 1, then Wartune 63, which is Chili's server. Big congratulations to my buddies there. And then Kong 7, who would be, who's their top player? Queenie Bee is their top player, and then after that they have a whole bunch of other people who are pretty strong. So big congratulations to all the top players, and I hope you guys enjoyed this event. It was quite fun, and I hope that it comes around more often. So take care, you guys, and have a very good day.